Hi, Skyla. It's nice to see you again. Welcome back.
It's good to see you too.
So just like we talked about last time, um, whatever happens in our counseling session in our room stays um, unless you talk about wanting to hurt yourself or hurting others. And like last time, I gave you your patient's bill of rights, and so you've probably looked that over since our last session. Do you have any questions before we begin?
No questions.
All right. Um, so like we talked about last time, we just talked a lot about how work was stressing you out and just figuring out how to try to get you to de-stress when you're at home and just kind of leave work at the door. Once you get to work, you leave your life, but then you leave work and now you need to go back to your normal life and just figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So do we want what part do we want to focus on today? Do we want to focus on the work or managing your life outside of it? What kind of things do we want to work on today?
Um, well, I think I more so want to organize and get a structure of a routine, kind of work on like myself outside of work.
Hmm.
I'm getting better at going to work and seeing and do the things that I do with my profession and kind of being able to handle that like mentally and emotionally and all that. But there are some difficult times where I go to work and it's just a rough day and then I have to come home and
Hmm.
kind of act like nothing, not that it never happened, but not let it affect me outside of work. So I think I'm more so trying to focus on things that I can do when I'm not at work in order to kind of de-stress and, you know, kind of work through those emotions.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you want to be able to figure out some time to yourself and what you can do to de-stress and give you some um, just a general idea of what times during the days of the week that you can have that time to yourself. Am I right?
Yeah, pretty much just like with the time that I kind of have free, like what can I kind of fill it with, like going to the gym, exercising, or even like meditation and coloring, reading, just stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't want to have like a fully packed schedule where I'm constantly busy, but just try to have like a routine to keep me a little preoccupied.
Okay, so more of just a general idea of what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start off with what kind of we know stress we know work is can be stressful in the job that you do. Um, what kind of feelings do you come home with that what how do you feel when you leave a shift?
Mm, I mean, it's different time to time. Um, I definitely come back feeling, worn out, just, exhausted. And I mean, that just kind of comes with the type of shift that I work and just the setting,
Hmm.
but sometimes I'll come back and I feel just really sad, that some of these patients, they're just so sick and they really need the help. But you know, there's only so much that we can do specifically in our setting,
Yeah.
um, and just like the things that they go through. So it's kind of sad. I think that's the one I experience the most. I just have that empathy and like sorry feeling for them.
So from my understanding, But what I'm hearing is that you get really overwhelmed from the situations that you see at work, and just because you're such an empathetic person, all those feelings just kind of flood you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That basically sums it up. I will admit that I am getting a little bit better at it and handling those situations, but I definitely agree and think that there should be some work put into it, some more work put into it, I guess.
So from the well, first of all, that's good that you're realizing that you're getting better at it. Um, and obviously there's more we can do to help that. Um, so you finish work, you come home. What what do you do to distress and to just try and get all of that out of your mind?
The first thing I do when I get home is I pick up and cuddle up with my cat, just say hi and snuggle up to him for a little bit, and then I just go and I kind of sit in the shower for a for a while and just kind of just relax. It's my own space, my own privacy, and I just, you know, it's a relaxing feeling just sitting in there for a little bit, don't think about anything. And then when I get out, I kind of just either put on like my diffuser or light a candle and just relax, until I'm ready to fall asleep and take a quick nap during the day after my shift. Um, I do have a few books, but like I said, with the structure of a routine, I haven't really found the time to be able to sit down and actually read like I would like to. I think that would definitely help me because I used to do that before. Um, and I even have like an adult coloring book, but
I
so
love adult coloring books. Those are great.
yeah, they're fun, but I kind of want to be able to find time to be able to do those things that I like enjoyed and I know that worked for me to help me relax. But, just been so busy.
So it sounds like to me that you do have a few good coping mechanisms, um, but you just really need to figure out that time and work it in so that you can actually use those coping mechanisms. So something that you'd maybe be interested in, would you maybe like to sketch out a just a general schedule? It doesn't have to be for like the full week, maybe just like of a schedule of like what your general day looks like when you have work. Just to see like what times that you actually are have free to yourself that you feel like you could fit in those coping mechanisms. Do you think that's something you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, I think I can definitely, sketch something out like that and then, kind of move forward from there. Yeah.
So what I was thinking was we could talk more about some once we have your what your daily schedule looks like when you have work, or like even if you wanted to do one day where it looks normal like when you have a work day, and then if you did another like a second schedule of like a day where you don't have work, just so we can see and compare of the times that you are available for you to think of, I have some free time here,
Mhm.
why don't I do some coloring, or why don't I go to the gym? You know what I
Right.
mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I think that will definitely help me to kind of be able to fit actually see like written on paper, what the day looks like when I have work versus what when I don't have work, and then kind of fit in like a puzzle, fit in the pieces of what would work where. Um, and I think that will definitely help and then keep me preoccupied.
Awesome. So what other do you have any other so I so I think where we can go from here is our meeting next week.
Yep.
We can you can do some homework and write up those schedules. Just jot it down. Maybe just even put a list in your phone. Be like, this time is this, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then I'll give myself some homework as well. I'll get a list of different websites or like coping mechanisms, and we can talk about that more next week.
Okay.
Um, just to give you more of an idea of other things you can do and like things that I know have worked for others.
Yeah.
Um, would that be of interest to you?
Yeah, yeah, and I appreciate you taking that extra time to put a list together like that, and then we can kind of work together to see, well, things that I'm interested in off that list versus not interested in, what I think would work for me personally.
And I think it'll be good just to give you some more ideas. Just to, you never know what's going to work.
Right,
Uh,
just widen the variety that I can have.
exactly. So before we end the session, um, do you have any other thoughts of anything we can talk about before our next session? Um, anything that comes to mind?
Um, I don't know. Nothing really specifically comes to mind. Um, I think, what we it will be beneficial to go through kind of making a schedule and a routine like that and the coping mechanisms. Um, but I also, think it also it would be good that we can add into next week more about like feelings at work and kind of then incorporate, what mechanism would work best for when I'm feeling this type of way. Cause like I said before, it's different after every shift. So that's
So I
what I
think as we
hope.
go through that sounds like a great plan. Um, and as we kind of figure out what works, what doesn't, we can then go back and be like, all right, well, this will help me when I've had this kind of night or this kind of feeling I have right now. So I think that'll definitely be good.
Yeah.
Um, so if we're all set for this session, it was nice to see you. I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you.